Ladies and gentlemen, it's time we stop pretending. My name is Haight, and today we are going to address the controversy that the internet can't shut up about, the roof and sue method. Yes, we disrupted the roofing industry, and yes, my biggest haters are losing their minds. One even bragged about sneaking into a private group chat, taking screenshots like a middle-aged middle school gossip girl and saying roofing sue is bad for customers. Really? Let's talk about what's really bad for customers because it sure as hell isn't us. If you're joining me maybe from YouTube, you haven't seen what's going on the Facebook, on the Instagram. Uh, one of my haters snuck into a private group chat and started a controversy with screenshots from our revolutionary approach to turn insurance deals into retail deals. Now, the biggest problem with the insurance companies over the last 10 years, and I've seen something, it's sort of like the fairy tale is dead. Insurance companies, let's establish something really quick. The insurance to retail is the future. Everybody knows that you got to figure out how to sell more retail projects. Also, when you're selling a roof, no one really wants to buy a roof. When someone buys a roof, if they're buying retail, oftentimes they get multiple bids. What's really cool about insurance is because we knock on the door, we help them through the insurance process. A lot of times we get to kind of get exclusivity with our customer. And that's what really allows us to, give them massive value, help them navigate the insurance claims process, show them legitimate damage. Here's the news flash. Insurance companies don't pay for roofs that don't have legitimate damage. And so if you're watching this and you're wondering if you can scam the toughest negotiators in the world, insurance companies, you can't scam them for long, and you really can't get over on them for maybe one out of every maybe 100 roofs, because the truth is there's so many eyes, there's so many double checks, there's so many engineers that insurance companies just don't pay for roofs that aren't damaged. Now, what was controversial about the roof and sue method is that we would move forward with the roof replacement regardless if the insurance company agreed that the roof needed to be replaced. It's a revolutionary approach that would take the whole need for a supplement completely out of the picture. And so really want to kind of break down the 5 truths of what they don't want you to know as far as insurance companies after thousands of litigations. Y'all know here in Florida, really what happened is that I saw a ton of insurance companies immediately after Irma. Category 4, I'm working for Pure Insurance. I built a relationship as an expert in tile. So they send me a bunch of leads. And this is years ago when insurance companies were supposed to have record profits. And Pure is one of the best insurance companies. They gave me 20 tile roofs. They were smoked. They had 20-30% of the tiles broken. They were discontinued tile. I tried to explain to the insurance company, these roofs need to be replaced. They're open and shut full replacements. And what did they do? The insurance company, even though I did 20 different inspections, they went behind me. They said, these roofs could be repaired. I don't know who that roofer is. We said he was a good guy, but actually go with this guy who will repair your roof. And from the very beginning, insurance companies in Florida made us sue them over tile roofs. And so there'd be so many of these cases. And the other side of the coin is like, the insurance companies drop homeowners that have an old roof in Florida for many different reasons. Like if you have a 15-year-old tile or shingle roof, there's a rule in Florida that states, dude, if your roof is discontinued, they owe for like, kind, and quality. So for matching, a lot of times there would be 10, 15 damaged shingles because the roof's brittle. I mean, truth is, dude, the sun, the wind, and the rain here in Florida makes this the toughest environment for a roof. And after 15 years, there's a lot of more wear and tear on these roofs than you usually see. And the truth is, like, when I fought all these claims, we went through the litigation process. What we found out was a lot of times in court, the insurance companies would ask us, they'd say, hey, so if the roof damage was all that bad, if this roof was really messed up by the storm, why didn't the customer just fix the roof? If it was leaking and there was problems and it was a full replacement and you waited all this time, customer, why didn't you take the action to go ahead and fix your problem? Isn't that your job and responsibility? It's funny how the insurance companies kind of put that, because they try to make it seem like you're trying to get a roof paid for by the insurance company for only minimal damage. But after thousands of litigations, I kept asking this question. The insurance company would say, like, dude, if the damage was that bad, why didn't you just fix it? The truth is like insurance companies deny a ton of legitimate claims. And here in Florida, it's gotten real crazy with they play dirty. And what I mean by that is they elongate the time to get an inspection, to get back with the customer. I had a customer file a claim, and because he didn't answer the phone when they called, they immediately said that he was neglecting them, the opportunity to inspect the property. They were removing the claim. They were forcing him to drop the claim. They sent a letter that made him think that, he'd done something wrong. They're in the process of playing mind games with the customers a lot, with making them do like evaluations under oath in their driveway, and getting statements from them that literally makes the customer feel uncomfortable, because it feels like they're under investigation under oath. And so the insurance companies, the fear that they use to really control people is your premiums are going to go up. We're going to drop you. We're not going to be able to insure you. And the biggest factor to your premiums being high and are you getting dropped by the insurance is the age of the roof. So it's not just me. Insurance companies are looking at permit data. They're flying drones over the top of the roofs. And it's not just Florida. This is happening all across the United States, where insurance companies are using technology. They're using any data they can find to find the old roofs. They're using all the different resources to get a roof photograph or to get zoomed in photos to see the condition of the roof. What they want to do is they want to eliminate coverage for roofs that are old, because old roofs are easier damaged by storms. So for me, I like to take the approach of, I don't necessarily go after a lot of damage. I go after the oldest roofs in the market. And if you want to be smart and be ahead of the game, then you have to play the same game the insurance companies are playing. And what we do is we build data lists of all the roofs over 15 years old. I get phone numbers, and what I'm really key about is putting those data points into Facebook, building more targeted lists, but also finding a way that the customer is going to opt in for a free inspection. And there's a lot of different funnels that we use, but the truth is that whenever you have a targeted list of people that you have an old roof, so does the insurance company. They know that these people are the ones that can put them out of business. If a storm comes along and they have to pay for replacement of the roof, that's why they're sending out. And the insurance companies here in Florida have dropped 400,000 people in the last few years. I think they're dropping 100 to 200,000 people a year. And a lot of people that have a mortgage, that are forced to have insurance, they can't even afford the rising cost of living in Florida. And the cost of paying to replace the roof will force them to sell their homes. And so they're stuck in a very hard position. And this position is very different, but it's also not very much different from across the United States. Everyone that has an older roof must be taught that this is happening across the landscape, that they're going to get dropped, that a drone's going to do the investigation. And, if you're in another state, even like California, this is happening, where if you have an older roof and you're going for renewal with your insurance, all of a sudden you can't get insurance and you have to pay to replace the roof to keep insurance. So my whole challenge throughout my entire career has been completely dependent on an insurance adjuster's opinion. That means the insurance company has to approve the roof. The insurance company has to say yes to the supplement. And then with a contingency agreement, with metal roofs, it's a little bit different. I would say metal roofs kind of don't fall into the category. Metal roofs are roofs that really are resistant to wind. And when they come of age, someone with an old metal roof is more likely to be a retail client. I have gotten metal roofs paid for by the insurance, and it brings me to a really good, important point. Let me just go ahead and break down the biggest roof and sue client I've ever done. This was a $2.5 million job. And this is why I piss a lot of roofers off. One, it pisses roofers off that I get bigger jobs than them. Two, some of these guys have never done $1 million job. This job was $2.5 million. I was referred. A lot of people don't give me credit for being a local roofer. I was referred to this client as a repair roofer, and we took a repair to replacement, and we used the roof and sue method. The controversy that's going on Facebook is that, we're going to rip somebody off. We need to be roofers. We need to stick to our lanes. Well, what is it? If I talk to the insurance companies and I negotiate the claims, I'm acting as a public adjuster and I could be charged a felony. Or if I just do my job and sell a retail roof and get the customer a loan and get them sold on the idea that they need a new roof now, and the cheapest time to get a roof is now, that I'm going to focus on the roof and the lawyer's going to focus on suing. So I've been called, an unethical scam artist, storm chaser, for negotiating insurance claims that I shouldn't. And so anyways, on this claim in particular, we couldn't have done it without Harvey Cohen. Got to give shout out to my network, because he helped us get the claim approved. What did we do? We took this metal roof that was leaking. And so Steve Metal roofs, standing seam is going to be very hard to get bought. But this was a 5V crimp. You know what a 5V is? It's like a PBR. It's exposed fasteners. And what we had to show is that the fasteners had been lifted and that there was separation. And we knew because an engineer said, y'all have a really good case. You'll have moisture intrusion in many buildings, and you have a lot of storm created openings that we can absolutely say is caused from this hurricane. So because we had a good case and because the engineer said, this is definitely something I'm going to put my license on and stamp it, what we told this condo association is that they needed to take a $20,000 assessment. Now, condo associations hate $20,000 assessments. As a matter of fact, this started a $100,000 repair, and now it's a $2.5 million job. If y'all are watching me on Facebook, this was like in Texas, we call it like a pro panel, but it's a 5V. It's a little bit different. Here in Florida, it's like the Florida roof. We call it the blue collar roof. We got $1,200 a square on this roof. It was a good job. But the thing is because the insurance company was arguing on replacement, here's what happened. Okay, so it's $2.5 million. This is the roof and sue method. This is the controversy. Is this better for the customer? Is it's not? Because the guy that was in my boxing gym, I was referred by my boxing coach. He trusted us. My engineer said it was damaged. So what did we do? We said, Harvey Cohen, we're going to run it up. We got them financing. See, the cool thing about condos and HOAs is they're a little bit different than commercial properties, and you can get condos financing. We got them financed. And cool thing about condos is it's like not about credit. It's just about the current affairs of the books. And we were able to get a $2.5 million loan while they put their claim into litigation. The insurance company said there was not enough damage. They offered money for repair. And we said the damage is worth $2.5 million. We're going to incur the cost. This is a revolutionary approach. And the first time that I saw it, literally my guy from my boxing gym is getting sued from inside of a condo because he had to fix the roof. And here's why they had to fix the roof. Because their insurance premium the next year was going to be double or triple. And this is like 200 or 300 units. So you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so the cost of continuing to pay for more expensive insurance, the cost of having to replace the roof anyways, it put them in a position where they must win the claim. And so we fought the claim. And whenever I sell the roof and sue method, which I'm going to go into a little bit later, I talk about leverage. I talk about the power of the purse. I talk about this is the process where you have the power. And when we got funding for that commercial property for $2.5 million, we gave them the power. Now, was everybody happy when we pulled the Band-Aid? Dude, when you pull the Band-Aid, it sucks. It's terrible. No one likes it. No one wants to pay for a roof. If you've ever been a roofer and gave a quote, who enjoys paying for a roof? Comment below if you think someone enjoys paying for a roof. No one does. So, of course, he's getting some pushback. That there was $20,000 assessments across hundreds of different condos. But when the insurance company had to pay the fucking claim, when the insurance company paid $2.5 million, that man was a hero. So Harvey Cohen secured literally the full amount of our incurred cost. And that was on a commercial claim. So that's where I thought, okay, how do I transition this from commercial to residential? And what is the problem in Florida? Florida is going to be like everywhere else in a few years. Florida waits as long as possible to send the coverage letter. They wait as long as possible to inspect the property. They wait as long as possible to write the check. When the check is written, it's written minus code items. They wait as long as possible for a supplement. Has anyone ever suffered that before? All these people that are talking about roofing sales and growing roofing companies, how many of them actually sell jobs? How many of them are actually working in a roofing office? I'm sitting here in my production office right now. We're putting on lots of roofs this week, okay? I'm putting on some commercial roofs, putting on 20 roofs across the country. And I'm just thinking, who here really has the time to talk about this revolutionary approach where you don't have to wait for the approval of the insurance, where you don't need a supplement, where you secure the right pricing on the job just because you have a more secure and upfront sales process that has the customer's best interest at heart. Because here in Florida, here's what happens. If you have legitimate damage, you want it covered. Contingent upon approval, no cost. Now, if I can get the roof paid for by the insurance company, it'll cost you no more than the deductible. That's where we go wrong. That is a great first entry into the sell, but it sets the wrong expectations. You want to know why? Because we don't win every fucking case. That's why. And the truth is very simple. Insurance companies deny so much legitimate damage that 50% of the claims get denied here in Florida. And in order for us to go through and win, we know that we may have to bring an attorney. An attorney brings in an engineer. This is literally going to cost some money somehow. And the truth is if I could get you 50 to 80% of the insurance company to cover your roof, would that be a good deal, sir? Most people don't have the balls, the cojones, after they sign the contingency agreement to have that tough conversation. That when we see State Farm on the other side of us, we think, oh my God, this is all kind of a waste of time. They're just going to make us go through this terrible process. Who in here type Snake Farm if you just can't stand having to deal with State Farm and having to wait for their second adjusters and their engineers? Well, the truth is, with the roof and sue method, you don't have to wait more than 30 to 60 days to build the roofs. Now, it's dependent on each situation, but this is literally the funny thing about it. The funny thing about it is the customer has to agree to the loan. The loan is a no payment, no interest loan for 12 months. What we do is we tell them at no cost to you that we're going to get your deal funded. Here's the transition, okay? I'm giving you the secrets because you can't fake this. I had to rebuild my company for retail, but the best part about my company is every job starts with insurance. I get to control the narrative and I get to control the margin at the same time. And so what we do is we get the contingency and then we ask them the magic question. We say, look, insurance companies are dropping homeowners. Have you heard about what's happening in Florida? People with 15-year-old roofs are getting dropped by the insurance company. Now, it'd be great for us to get you the whole roof here, but the truth is, it's like you're going to have to pay for the whole roof in the next year or two, and insurance companies deny roofs like crazy. They deny more than 50% of the claims, and so we have to bring in the engineers. We have to bring in the attorneys, and a lot of times we win. But the truth is, if I could get 50 to 80% of your roof covered, that'd be good, right? Too much explanation. I don't even go into all that while I'm closing. I'm just trying to break it down for you so that you understand the network, so you understand what we're doing here. We're building the leverage so that we can transition to retail, because they have to understand the cheapest that they can get a roof is today, that the best chance that they can get to get the roof paid for by the insurance is to go ahead and be all in to pursue them. And we use something called a magic letter. The magic letter. Everybody comment magic letter if you want my magic letter. My magic letter is how I get 90% of the roofs approved without an attorney or public adjuster. Even though I talk about an attorney or public adjuster, when you send this magic letter and you send a pre-approval, oftentimes the insurance companies know you mean business. Now you have to have a legitimate claim. You have to have damage. Now, the best thing for us, like in states like Connecticut, where we have matching clauses, we just need some shingle damage. We just need some coverage extended. And so we know that our job at the adjuster appointment is to make friends, to create a friendship, a kinship with the adjuster, and tell them it's all part of the process, and just get coverage extended and just talk about the damage for repairs. We're going to be agreeable through this whole time period because we don't care to win the argument. Why? Because once coverage is extended, we know our engineers will write a report that say the roof must be replaced. And we know that our attorneys can win in court. And we know that the attorney from the insurance side doesn't want to face Granny, who was denied by the insurance, who had legitimate damage, where you have 100 photos of damage, of soft metal damage, of missing shingles. Granny was denied by the insurance, like all these other people. It's just not right. Who do you think is going to win in court? Granny's going to win in court, especially if Granny incurs the cost of her roof. And it was after taking 5,000 people to court through Florida, waiting through the process. I'd have salespeople, they didn't make it. You talk about what is the controversy around Haight? Sales guy comes on board to work with me. The process in Florida takes forever to make money. If you don't have money to get through the first 3-6 months, it's tough because jobs get denied. Then they have to go through this process. And we have seen this across the entire industry. It just takes longer to get paid. It's not such a quick cash grab in roofing sales anymore. And with retail roofing sales, every time that I get a loan, a no payment, no interest loan, the first day at the contingency agreement, all I have to do is show up to the adjuster appointment and get coverage extended. Then I send a magic letter. The magic letter states, very simply, it's a very simple approach. The magic letter states that please pay the claim as presented. I know my rights. My roof is damaged beyond repair. And if you don't pay the claim as presented, I will have my engineer and attorney pursue this in court. Please pay the claim as presented. I intend to start this roof within 30 days. Leverage. That's the power of the purse. You pulling the Band-Aid, having the customer prepared. What if the insurance company says no? What if the insurance company says no? Is this the question that you're having a hard time answering? because that's how you get them to buy the roof is you get them to understand that they're going to have to buy a new roof in the next year or two anyways. You go into the attic and you make them feel like, maybe one of their soft leak points is, really, really bad. And you create urgency in the fact that they need a freaking roof. That's old school retail sells. And then you tell them, we got a legitimate storm date. We got legitimate storm damage. This is the best chance you got to get 50 to 80% off. I'm the best roofer. Here's the deal through the insurance process. Let's say I'm selling this in Texas. They always want you to cut corners. They don't pay for a 5-star roof. So the way I make the insurance company pay for a 5-star roof is we incur the cost. We give them the magic letter. We give them a pre-approval. We put the secondary water barrier on. We replace the step flashing. We install the roof to a higher standard so that you can get reimbursed. When you're getting your adjuster paperwork and they say save your receipts, you know that? It's because in your policy it says that when you incur a cost to repair the damage that they must pay you. So this is just like those receipts. And what I want you to do is get pre-approved at no cost to you. And through our partners, I like GoodLeap because it's a soft pull. They pull from 3 different banks. I like Service Finance because they have a great customer care portal. They have a great tool. They have a tool for contractors. Both GoodLeap and Service Finance will help fund the projects. GoodLeap will buy materials and get the materials on site. Service Finance will give you up to 30% cash, and they will build a credit line with you to fund the growth. Most of that money is meant for building the jobs and upfront materials. That gives money that you can pay sales commissions, that you can pay for other things to get the jobs going. And especially if you sell the roofs at a 50% profit. See, if you get 30% up front, but you sell at a 50% profit, you can pay a little bit to your sales guy and you can buy the materials. And so that means that our business model is fucked. We don't sell for enough money because we don't set the price. You let the insurance company set the price. And when someone told me that my business model was all wrong, I took it personal. I took it personal when 20 years of my life, I've been doing it the wrong way. And so what I can tell you is that whether it's a shingle roof, a metal roof, a tile roof, documenting the damage correctly, having a third-party expert like an engineer, turning it over to the attorney, having the customer 100% ready to send the magic letter that says, I intend to repair the roof and I'm starting within 30 days. As long as there's not stipulations in the policy that stop you from doing it. And so we have to work really tightly with our team, specifically the team at Harvey Cohen. And we kind of go back and forth a lot because here's the thing, the adjusters or the attorneys, they want to wait. The roofers, they want a roof. So what's best for the customer? Here's what's best for the customer. When you have policy ability to build the roof and you have an engineered report that says the roof needs to be built, then you build the fucking roof, because the most likely chance that you're going to get reimbursed is if you do the job. So if you're watching this right now and you want to know how you can sell for higher margin, then it starts with an insurance claim and a contingency. And if we can get 50 to 80% of it covered, that'd be good, right? Then we go to $800 a square and we go sit down with them, and we don't have to compete against other roofers because we sell the 5-star roof. We sell the workmanship warranty. We sell all the things that are great. And I didn't have to do that as a giveaway artist. And, really, it was me selling. I made a commitment to sell 100 roofs in 30 days. And in that commitment, I had to figure this retail process out. I'm kind of glancing over the most important part. It's like once you sign the contingency, you just tell people the next step of the process is you need a copy of their driver's license. See, y'all screw up when you're selling financing because you get nervous about offering financing. And then when you go to offer it, you almost feel guilty about it. So you're like, and if you can't afford it, we have financing options if that's what you need. That's not how you sell financing. How you sell financing is you tell them how to do it. You say, look, the next step is for you to get a copy of your driver's license. We submit a pre-approval. We get a magic letter, and it's at no cost to you. And the way this works is simple. We fight the insurance, and when our attorneys and our engineers say it's good, we roof it. And that gives us the leverage to win, because after sitting through 5,000 court cases, I answered one question. If the damage was so bad, why didn't the customer fix it? And so I just want you to know, worst case scenario, you don't get any coverage for your roof. Well, guess what? The cheapest that you can get a roof is today. I'm going to give you a better quality roof. You're going to get this problem solved. We're going to save money on your insurance premium. And getting a new roof is going to put all this uncertainty of what your premium is going to cost. If you're going to be forced to pay for replacement, at least now you get a chance to get 50 to 80% off. And if you got a chance to get 50 to 80% off, it's worth it, isn't it? And you hear how I used a little NLP, a little programming there to let them know you'd be crazy not to do this. And that's how you push them into the process. Now, they have to sign the loan documents. They have to sign the contract. They have to accept that you did a good job for them. And they have to sign the document that says not only did we do a good job, but they accept the terms of the loan. And by the time a customer accepts the terms of a loan and we complete the project and they press the button, what is unethical about completing the project and getting paid upon completion? At first, I was unethical being a slave to the insurance. Now I'm unethical making customers pay. What is it? It's all the people want to find an opinion to make me look like some sort of guy when actually this is the guy that's in the arena that's sharing what it's actually like. Everyone's going to have to go retail. As a matter of fact, I've always been good at generating the leads, but the leads, man, the leads don't mean shit. If you selling on insurance, how many of y'all want more leads? And you think the leads are going to solve your business? How many of y'all are business owners? This says, I tried roofing sales at Golden Hammer and Jackson's got 2 sales and they went bankrupt. Well, roofing companies in Florida have a harder time because of this process. Every roofing company that can't sell financing, that doesn't sell retail, has met the fate of some of these guys, even large companies, guys that talked a lot of shit about me. They didn't weather the storm. They're not out here still doing it. And it's just funny that, as a CEO, sometimes, even after 20 years, even having sales managers, sometimes you got to go out there and get at the grassroots level. Why is that? Because sometimes if you've been doing it all wrong, you are the biggest fucking problem. It's your bias. And I'm pointing right at myself. I was the biggest problem. The problem, I would recruit them in, but if you can't retain them, that's the sales reps. And the whole quality of your roofing company is this. What system do you have to recruit, hire, and train, retain men that knock their own doors, generate their own business, and become leaders and build sales teams and then run sales organizations? And this is the fountain of wealth in roofing. And the big problem is the hole in your fountain that is death by depreciation, that is supplement before we build, that is denial versus approval. And this is death to salesmen. This is death to the future. And life, a revolution, is getting a loan with the contingency agreement. And how do you get a loan with the contingency agreement? Well, I did 26 loans in 30 days as the CEO, and I ran a conference. And I just want you to know, if I can do it, you can do it too. They want to talk about all these different things that I am, but where's your game tape? Where are your commercial builds? Where's your revolutionary approaches to grow the freaking roofing industry? The blue collar marketing method. This was the first time that we really blew up with leads. I went into Russell Brunson's inner circle. I really developed the hidden damage, the build, the testimonial video, applying the hook, story, offer frameworks to the roofing industry. This is before ChatGPT. I'm spitting game on them videos, getting leads on the low. I'm telling all my roofers how to get leads through Facebook. But most of the time, the insurance guys, they can't even fucking run the leads. Why? Because it always costs them too much money. And the reality is, because they don't get a loan, they don't actually get the job. And I was just that guy. I could create all the leads in the world. I could create all the recruits in the world, but I had a broken sales process. The sales trainer, the guy who closed Grant Cardone on insurance, he wasn't as good at sales as he thought he was. And that is a humbling experience to have. But the truth is thank God that I'm willing to go back there and relearn and apply what I see out there in the retail world. Now, retail roofers, they don't know the insurance process. So they don't know that it's smart to start everyone through the insurance process. They don't understand that. And insurance roofers don't understand the value of a loan. Let me explain to you the hidden value of a loan. Most of you are terrible at collecting money, and it's not just you. Your salespeople are terrible at collecting. Why? Because the money goes into the customer's bank account. Y'all want to know why solar is more scalable than roofing? Because the money never goes into the solar buyer's bank account. If the money from the loan went in their bank account, they would get greedy. Who has had a problem when they got an insurance check from a customer who's middle income, or maybe you're slightly poor income, or maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck, and that roof comes, but they want to negotiate. They want you to knock $3,000 off because something's not right. They want to hold your money. They want to twist your arm because they have the power of the purse. If you just get that person to get financing, Well, they have to press a button that says you did a good job, but they don't get that money. That money goes to you. So all you have to do is get them to say that you did a good job, and they don't have to think about that money being in their bank account. And so that was such a revolution for me, because now every insurance deal that I got, it was easier to get paid on. And it was really hard when we first started this, going back to people that we'd promised, hey, you can pay us as the insurance company paid you. We were forcing them to get a loan. We were walking through the process of why we didn't need to wait for depreciation, why we need to be paid when we're done. You know, one of the analogies I use is, you don't go into Home Depot, buy a nail compressor, and walk out in the parking lot and act like that you didn't commit a crime. Well, why are you going to let me leave this roof job without payment for 30, 60, 90 days, like it's no big deal, just because that's how the insurance companies paid you? Like it's no big deal. But do you know your roof is worth a lot more than a nail compressor from Home Depot? And how does Home Depot make you pay for a roof? 100% up front. So me being willing to work with you and get paid by the insurance, is it good for me or is it bad for me? And do you want me to be in business? Do you want me to be a good businessman? Do you want me to have a good warranty? Do you want me to offer you a good product? Yes, you do. You want me to charge enough money for this. You want me to get paid when I'm done. And it only comes from a guy that had tons of jobs. I had to work myself out of a hole. I had jobs to build. I had salespeople to pay. I ran out of credit lines because, I mean, dude, this is what happens when you scale a $50, $60 million a year. We got to 60 million a year. And when $8 million was on the streets, when the depreciation cycle went over 90 days, when the denial rate almost doubled, well, our ability to retain sales reps, it went down. And whoever has experienced that in roofing, where the market is up and down, the market is up and down sometimes, even retail right now, with people not having enough good interest and good money to pay for home improvements, they're saying even retail roofing is down. Well, not my shit. My shit's up without a storm. How did I double sales without a storm? The 100 roof challenge. And this is where I literally said, you know what? I'm going to rewrite everything. I'm going to go out here and do it. I got 53 contingencies agreements and 26 loans. And from that birth, me being able to do it over the phone. Just before I got on this, I was doing a FaceTime with a brand new rep, and we're closing a deal over the phone. And I found, like, if there's a person in the house, dude, the best closer may not be there. So to get them to finance, you may got a financing department, and you can do that through a virtual team. It's like an inside outside closer, and it's sort of the new approach. As a matter of fact, we're using a lot of AI to generate the leads. We're using a lot of AI to do the follow-up. I've trained this AI, and it's like, you know, this app, Roofing Redline, I built with AI. I generate a lot of the leads through door to door, but it's the data from this app that we use to retarget our prospects and get cheap leads. And y'all just don't know. It's like the difference between a ground force and an air force, the door-to-door army and the virtual sales army, and using them together along with the secret weapon, which is the marketing campaigns. This is the fucking golden ticket. And so you're watching this right now. You're like, who's for real in roofing? Who's for real as a coach? What the fuck is for real? Well, this is how many roofs I got to build. This is our Naples office. We're putting on about 25 roofs this week, and we're closing the year strong in momentum. Our guys in Connecticut, they fell just short of $1 million, but they've been hitting $1 million months. And I'm proud, because a lot of people, there's a couple of things that I need to address here. Any questions right now that you have about the Roof and Sue method, how we transition insurance to retail? Any questions that you want to challenge? Like, how is this good or bad for the customer? Or what can happen if the insurance company says no? Or what happens if you get a loan for somebody, you tell them you're going to get 50 to 80% of the roof covered, and you don't? What happens? Well, you know, worst case scenario, they get a new roof, and they get it today before more inflation, and they get it done by me, and I get to stand behind me, and they don't have to worry about it. And I know that this burden, thinking about you're getting dropped by the insurance, you having the ugliest roof on the block, like, I want you to be rid of this burden right now. And yeah, what I didn't realize as an insurance giveaway artist, and that's what I'm going to call all of you, is giveaway artists, is people love to get approved for a loan. People love to get approved for a loan. Give me some likes if you think that the American public. Let me tell you about how rich people think, how poor people think, and how middle class people think about money. Number one, poor people, this is what they think about money. They think that they work as hard as possible so that they can pay their bills. so that they can stay in their home. That's poor people, and that's okay. It's getting more expensive just to pay your bills. You got to make 100 grand to be poor around here. All right. Middle class people. What do our redneck roofer rich? What do? We buy big trucks, we buy big boats, we go on sick vacations, we get debt, we get properties, we get all these different things. Okay, look, good debt is good debt, bad debt is bad debt. But what does a fucking middle class guy want to do? He wants to spend more of his money. You want the ability to buy a bigger boat, you want the ability to buy a bigger truck, you want the ability to buy a bigger house because you want to use your credit. And so the difference between middle class people and rich people is pretty simple. Every rich person knows that every dollar that I don't put as an investment into things that make me dollar, not only am I going to pay depreciation, not only am I going to pay the interest, not only am I going to pay all these different things, but I am going to be losing out on the opportunity for the investment. Now, for me, disruption followed intention. I put a lot of my own money into companies. I bought 3 different companies, one of which went from 3 million in sales to 3 million in profit. One of the companies is one of my best friends. He's going to be one of my best success stories, but everyone says he's a failure. And just recently, there was a $650 million collapse. Blackstone, they owned multiple companies, a big family remodeling group, and they all went out of business at the same time, and thousands of people were left without doing jobs. Well, my buddy Ricky, he was a retail roofer. He used my ads, my video ads, and my leads to get a lot of growth in his business. Now, he didn't run my business system. He did kitchen and bath remodels. He had in-house crews, and he was one of the best roofing salesmen I ever saw, but he didn't just sell roofs. And as he scaled, he was great at 2 million. He made the most money when he did $8 million in sales, 7.8 million, sold a bunch, made a lot of money. And the next year he invested it all. He took the money just like a rich person, invested into his brand, into his marketing. But the thing about growing fast is you can grow fast or you can grow in control. And there was some checks and balances that I wish I had with Ricky as he grew from 7 million to 20 million. I wish I was more involved with his books. I wish I knew more about his job costing mechanisms. And I wish I knew more about his overhead expenses. I wasn't aware about all these things. And really, in my best year of making $5 million in profit and paying taxes, I got funded for a line of credit to buy companies, and I wanted to buy companies. And so Ricky came to me whenever he was in a jam because basically he wasn't doing roofing and insurance restoration exclusively. These builds, these remodels that he'd underestimated were costing him more than he thought to build. He'd already paid commissions, had all these overheads. He'd scaled outside of his britches. And really what I should have done with Ricky is I should have been able to have a clear look at the finances of Southers. And I should have said, man, this is far beyond me fixing it. And no amount of money is going to be the one that fixed it. But the real story that happened there is, I don't know what it was, but the state must have seen videos on the internet and thought that he could get famous going out and pursuing Ricky like he was a bad guy. And the reality is that Ricky is a guy that really went through a lot of shit, but it's not right what people say because every day he will have his day in court, and what he did wasn't wrong. His company just folded because he wasn't good at business, because he wasn't good at finances. I tried to save it. I put $1 million into trying to save one of my best friends. And after going through adversity and rebuilding with him, and us being at a point now where our offices are doing $1 million a month consistently, and doing it with just roof only and this insurance to retail, his stats are better than mine. I mean, his stats are more 5-star reviews. His stats are better profit. He's actually outperforming our Florida office in retail sales. And so, sometimes the obstacle is the way. I mean, I really wanted to be Ricky's partner because of his ability to sell retail. He's taught me a lot about selling retail. So, going through this adversity in front of everybody is definitely a challenge. But I just want y'all to know that I do the right thing and Ricky does the right thing. And the truth is that he's the best retail salesperson that's helped us kind of evolve into a retail company where all the jobs that we do, we get paid in full when we're finished. Even if they start with an insurance claim, we get 50% up front, 25% when we start, and the balance when we're finished. Even if that customer hasn't got his depreciation, the terms are negotiated up front and the customer makes the down payment. They fund the job. Each job cash flows itself. And the better way to do it is to just get a no payment, no interest loan on every deal. And I used to worry about the cost. I used to worry about the fees. Like there's a 4% fee, there's a 5% fee. You'd put that on top of the job, but you don't realize you're able to name your price. So paying a 4% dealer fee when you're getting $800 a square versus waiting for insurance to pay $650 a square. I'll take the 5% subtracted from the $800 a square all day. And I just want y'all to know, a lot of people say a lot of things about me, but this is the realest, most revolutionary, simplest fucking thing you can apply in your business to change your life. It's this roof and sue method. And no, you're not suing people that don't have legitimate claims. And no, you're not roofing people that don't have a chance to get their roof paid for by the insurance. And yes, you got to get an engineer out to the property. And yes, you got to have that customer into the legal process. And you got to make sure that that legal process, you're not breaking their policy rights. But what you are going to be able to do is you're going to get 12 months where you got the bandwidth to get it figured out, the fight. You're going to do the roof. Now, how does it usually work? Well, usually the customer, turns the day of the adjuster completely different. The adjuster, you come off the roof, and even if you're getting denied, I got great news. We got great news. You see these marks? Coverage has been extended. We got damage. He took pictures of damage. We got great news. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and submit our pre-approval, our magic letter, and we're going to fast track this thing so that we don't have to be sitting here arguing about this for the next year and a half. It's pretty simple. Let's go through this. Here's the secondary water barrier. Here's the GAF roof system. Here's the improvements to the ridge vent. Now you start selling them on the roof. They want the fucking roof. And so at this point, it's very simple. It's like, all right, look, what if my insurance company doesn't approve me? Well, this is the fastest and easiest way for us to get an approval. We show them the pre-approval. We show them the pictures. We get an engineer. If they don't pay us, they deal with our attorneys. This is the fastest easiest way for you to get approved. I just need a copy of the driver's license. Now, how many different times have we done a contingency agreement and we know, does a contingency agreement stand up in court? I'm wondering, what's the question? Y'all, come on, chat. Is a contingency agreement a valid agreement that stands up in court? Or when a customer decides after you've met the insurance company and got them paid for the insurance that they want to keep the money, is that okay? Is it okay because it's really an invalid agreement? I'm just asking y'all, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Do y'all think it's a valid agreement? Because, I've enforced the contingency agreements, but when somebody wants to take me to court, I refuse to send them to collections or to take them to court because I know that I've got bigger fish to fry. And I know a lot of roofers are the same way. And so a lot of times we get people's roofs bought, we get supplements for people, but we don't get to do the job. That almost never happens when you have a loan approved, a hard number contract. See, the old days of us getting the assignment of benefits, this means our name was on the check. This is the better version of our name is on the check. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. When the loan is pre-approved and it's 12 months, no payment, no interest, and we get them, there's a few steps. There's a few hiccups. What are the hiccups in the process? Okay, here are the hiccups in the process. Number one, they got to sign the loan docs. Sometimes they get the pre-approval and they get cold feet when it comes time to sign the loan docs. The loan docs, you simply, after you get them pre-approved, the one thing I love about the Service Finance app is that you can just walk them right through it and you can have them sign right on your phone, and it's instant and it's quick and it's simple and it's just the next step. And a lot of times when you got somebody that's saying yes, we call them a tapper. Do you know what a tapper is? Just tap right here. This says that we're going to move forward in the job. Just tap right here. And getting a tapper is somebody that is just going to say yes. And so when you get to the final stage, you don't want to miss getting the loan doc signed. Okay. That's the first place that you can hiccup. The second place you can hiccup, of course, is do you have a proper contract? Do you have colors selected? Here in Florida, you need an NOC. You need all the paperwork correct. That's where we're using Roofing Redline to do an estimate. And of course, if you can't give an estimate, you can't give an on-site approval. Like, we're selling a lot of these deals virtually using Roofing Redline to measure the roofs over the computer, then walking through the insurance process, calling the insurance company on three-way, then getting them approved for the loan after we get off the insurance company call. Do y'all realize that you build so much reciprocity with them when you've helped them file the claim? And once you help them file the claim, then the next step is to just get them pre-approved. And once they've gone through the process and you've invested that much time, it just makes this insurance to retail or roof and sue program on the phone possible, but it can't be possible without the proper documents. So after I get the contingency agreement to talk to the insurance, I got to use Roofing Redline to come up with an $800 a square measurement of the roof. See, I love Roofing Redline. It's an instant measure. I don't have to deal with no Eagle View or waiting on reports. And I get them a hard number contract. So now I got to get this signed contract and the signed loan docs. So if someone's picked a color, they signed loan docs and they signed, there's still a chance that this deal could get fucked up. Where could it get fucked up? Where could it get fucked up? Here's where it could get fucked up. Well, Lee, what if the insurance company doesn't pay? What if we don't get 50 to 80% of this roof? What happens? Well, that's a good question. The truth is that you could be dropped by your insurance in the next year or two anyways. The cheapest that you can get a roof is today. I'm going to give you a good price of the roof. I always say pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. So we're going to be competitive. We're going to be upfront. We got a price value guarantee. And so look, you're getting a new roof. This is going to give us the best chance of approval. Having a pre-approval gives us leverage. But even right before they get cold feet, they're like, Lee, what if the insurance doesn't pay? See, the customer needs to be 100% certain that if the insurance doesn't pay, that they'll pay anyways. As a matter of fact, we just finished a good friend of mine, and they have a big tile roof. This big tile roof would have cost $10, $12, $14,000 a year insurance if they'd have left it on. They wanted a metal roof. Now, they had damage, and they were going to have to pay for this roof in the next 2 years. In the next 2 years. And the roof was going to cost them $100,000. And so going through the process, they know there's a chance they may have to foot 100% of the bill, but they wanted a standing seam metal roof. So no matter what, they were going to spend 80, 90, $100,000 on that roof. Well, we still don't have a guarantee from the insurance they're paying from the roof. We're still in the litigation process. These people are my friends, but I know that I'm not going to let the insurance company settle unless it's the right amount. And this is where you really got the leverage, because sometimes, you know, when you're feeding, and this is what's cool, all the Florida attorneys, they're drying up. There's not as many of us, so they're really dependent. Some of these guys are willing to work for cheaper, and some of them are really work with you and work with your customers. And so it's like your legal team becomes that person that says, you have a really good case, and we're going to give it all we got, and I win most of these cases. And so worst case scenario, you need a new roof anyways. The cheapest you can get a roof is today. And so if you're watching this right now, look, I want to teach you the Roof and Sue method. We have a 100 roof challenge, and this 100 roof challenge is 4 calls a week. And inside of these calls, I'm going through the scripts. We're selling straight retail. There's lots of people that we sell straight retail to. We focus on counties in Florida where we can get people sub 650 approved. This is an app called the PACE program. It's not an app, it's a fucking program, Renew Financial, but it's a tax lien. They don't have to have good credit. And so a lot of the people that are left, they've kept their insurance money. They have bad credit. So, man, I'm getting blown up. If somebody calls me that many times, literally on a live stream, should have hit do not disturb. All right, guys, I've been spitting fire, and I appreciate the audience. Guys, if you want to join our 100 roof challenge, it's simple. I had a Black Friday offer where people got in for free, but now it's $500. For $500, you can try out our roofing sales mastermind. I spit fire. Ricky spits fire. Mike Herrera, our $10 million producer you see on my YouTube. This guy makes $1 million a year as a sales rep and runs a roofing company within my roofing company, owned equity in my company. And this is the type of like people, like he's the most altruistic. I call him like Roof Jesus. He sends me scripture on a daily. And the truth is like, guys, this is not easy scaling a big roofing company. You know, you want to go to 100 million, you want to build $1 billion company, then guess what? That's sort of my challenge. Maybe you want to go from 1 million to 10 million, or you want to go from 10 million to 20 million, but I've done that in my sleep. And I can tell you, selling roofs at the right margin, that is the first step. Selling roofs where you get paid in full when you're finished with the roof, that is the first step. Getting a dependable way to build wealth, the ability to advertise for profit, learning how to create leads at the right price. That's the secret sauce. None of it works if you don't have a good sales process. And even the best at sales need to train and need to learn from other people, because my method, what regions do I work? I'm working the whole country through a virtual sales approach. Anyone that needs an opportunity to plug in, we can plug you in virtually. You can literally do these deals over the phone. And I have a system, SDU Hub, where all my Facebook leads, all my telemarketing leads come in, and I just literally plug you in. Your job, if you're a rookie, is to set appointments for our closers. Then you'd listen to us virtually close the deal, and you'd understand how to get a loan done over the phone. When I first started selling coaching and I was getting these $60,000 packages over the phone, I got so excited. It was fun. But now I get 2 or 3 $60,000 roofs over the phone, and I don't have to deal with knuckleheads. I think, man, why didn't I just sell the roof, since private equity are giving me a 10x multiple on my money? And that's why you hadn't seen me so much in the coaching space, because really it's about perfecting this purpose in my life to be the best facilitator of success in roofing. And that comes down to my results. Just recently, a company, Lifetime Quality, they sold for multiple 8 figures. They spoke at 2 of my conferences. These guys do insurance and retail. They scaled, they fought here in Florida for us to be able to say insurance claim. Shout out to Zach and Alex. They're great guys. They were part of our program, took recruiting funnel, lead generation, a lot of the shit directly from me, and applied it at even higher levels. Another guy named Josh Jergy from Smart Roof. He does over 100 million. And he was one of my first, if not the first, elite client, the guy who paid 60 grand. And Josh, he probably thought he knew more than me at the time, but he wanted to learn door to door. And he wanted to learn insurance. And he came from Power Home Remodeling, and he knew how to get deals financed. So what I taught Josh, who obviously was better at business than me because he grew to 100 million. And that being said, it's pretty simple. Like, I agree. Like, I got my ass beat by that guy right there, Josh Jergy. He's a skinny guy. He did my podcast, but I loved it when I saw him on Tommy Mello, and he had $100 million business. And I know my recruiting funnel, my lead generation system, and me helping him. That's what makes people so mad. People want to call me fake. But like Josh is one of those guys. He likes to work behind the scenes. And he did a follow-up podcast with me and talked about how impactful it was. And still I get a kind of touch base, but a lot of times I help guys get from 2 million to 10 million, or 5 million to 20 million. And once they are making $20 million a year, they're selling on their own. And so I just don't hear enough basically of people giving the respect for what you got. You're not fake. You got your ass beat. Truth is that much respect to the dude that went all the way to the end with me, because I beat the shit out of him, and he did stay there, and I got to give him his props for that. But that being said, it was a good fight, and I needed to go back to the streets and redefine my whole roofing system. I thought that if I could be the Jake Paul of roofing and get a bunch of clicks and views, that would make me the GOAT. But that's not what makes me the GOAT. Being the best facilitator of success, having the best marketing system, having the best recruiting system, actually being the guy that's willing to create the content, to take the falls in front of you to come back even stronger. And the funny thing is that it's the punk podunk guys that will never be anything, that are always going to be chirping. The loudest chirps come from the cheap seats. And here's the thing. Don't take advice. Don't listen to criticism from people that you wouldn't trade places with. And that's probably been my biggest downfall, is you listen to what everybody thinks. I've always been sort of a people pleaser a little bit. The idea that you want to be one of the cool kids. I see this in roofing. It's like everybody wants to be in high school, and they all want everyone to be liked. And I understand that feeling. That's one of the reasons why I did a lot of this coaching and stuff. But it's really, it's a false identity in what we call an echo chamber. And if all you're doing is perpetuating things that actually don't work, and you're not lifting each other up, well, you're not getting any better. And sometimes for me, when things are so good and I think I got it all figured out, these are the times where you're about to fall on your ass. And so good news is, we give away the sauce here on the regular. We take you on the commercial hunts. We take you in the streets. We take you through the scaling roadmap. I've got a 2-hour breakdown on exactly everything that I do, start to finish. And I'm just telling y'all, thanks a lot. Really appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging in there. It's been a good live stream. I love to stir up a little controversy. Guys, I didn't even fucking talk about the party that we're having December 6th. This Saturday, I'm having a party in Marco Island. This is Naples. We're right up the street from Marco Island. So if you're in Marco Island, you're invited to my party. I'm going to take you in my boat to a private island where all the locals hang out. And first thing we're going to do on Saturday is we're going to do a workout. Then we're going to do a little bit of sales training. We're going to talk on the Roof and Sue method. We're going our friend Jackson, he's been doing a lot of deals with me. Jackson Bubba on Instagram. He's a beast. but he actually sold 1.9 million over the phone. And we've been working together, and he's been working on the Roof and Sue program. He's got Roof and Sue deals. And what we want to unleash for everyone that's in Marco Island is the anti-conference. We just want to go hang out. One thing that really helped me is Jackson's approach: make a friend, help a friend. I'm Mr. Hard-nosed CEO, and sometimes being a roofer for 20 years, having everybody try and take advantage of you, it sucks your soul. And it's nice to have a young, youthful approach. This guy grew from 2,000 followers to over 100,000 followers. And you always have to be a student of the game. And the number one key there is the authenticity. The authenticity. And so I just think that, I looked a little bit at the conference, and a shout out to all those guys. The movement at the Roofing Process has definitely been a growth movement group. But I can tell y'all, there's a lot of people that aren't practitioners in roofing sales. I looked at the roofing sales panel. Look, Victor is my friend, and he is literally the best guy in roofing sales there, and he's not a roofer. I didn't see that many guys that can scale roofing companies, that scaled roofing companies, that are roofing marketing geniuses. I don't see real practitioners. I see people from other industries that maybe I would like to hear from, that I believe would make good speeches, and I think that you'll have a great time. But I think that if you want to learn the nitty-gritty shit from the practitioners, like what we use, what we call the spray, pray, and retarget. It's dynamic conversions, how we use 5 different videos. We retarget with the videos to lower our cost per acquisition, how we're using AI to set the appointments, how we're basically using an app that basically with door-to-door, you're out there dropping nuggets for your telemarketing team. And I'll show you how to use basically Roofing Redline as a virtual sales engine along with a tool for your door-to-door. And for anybody that's interested, I'm going to be sending y'all invitations, but it's a private location. It's by invitation only. It's pretty simple. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to train in the morning. We're going to work out. I'll bring my boxing gloves. So if anybody wants to show up and talk shit, look, I always wanted to be the guy that always went out there and fought all my followers. And it's so funny that someone went inside the group chat of the challenge, paid $500 just so that they could post screenshots. And the truth is, it's funny. It's really funny because we're doing a free event. Anybody that wants to see what it's really all about, there's going to be my team, some guys coming in from out of town. We're going to go out on my boat. I got room for multiple people, got multiple boats, and we're going to go to an island that's really like a 10-minute ride from Marco Island. It's called Key Wade, and it's where all the locals hang out. And I got a plan set up for us. It's going to be off the chain. More importantly, I just want to break bread. I want to make a friend and see if I can help you out with the Roof and Sue method. I know that so many of y'all are living death by depreciation. You're waiting on supplements to get approved. You hadn't got the leads game figured out. Your door-to-door heartbeat is weak. You need a sales manager. You don't know how to create one. I know all y'all want to be creating content on social media, but I know what else. You're afraid of all these people that say that you're a scammer, you're a smuck, you're a chub, you're this, you're that. You're afraid. You see the guys over here. This guy's just one of those dudes, and it's like, hey, dude, I love my haters. They're not only my motivators, but they dude, a lot of times, the truth is, it's like, dude, you got to have a little bit of, you got to poke fun at yourself. I'll tell you a funny joke. My father-in-law, he's the biggest Trump fan there is out here, but for his birthday, we got him a picture of Joe Biden. Looky there, all them trolls. Look at them there. There's your man right there, bud. We got him a little autographed Joe Biden picture because we fuck around with everybody. And that's the whole goal. If you can't laugh at yourself, then you don't belong in construction. And if y'all are watching this right now, y'all want to come hang out, December 6th, that's Saturday, we're doing a little make a friend, help a friend workout, sales training, and boat day. And so I'm going to take you to where the locals hang out. If you've ever seen me on my story where I go, there's going to be fishing, there's going to be football, and there's going to be a good time because what I'm about is the blue-collar American dream. I know everybody that's coming to Marco Island is about the same thing. So I want to collaborate to dominate. And if you want to be a part of that, then type in Marco Island. Just type in Marco Island, and I'll get you access. I'll see if you are going to get the invitation. I'm looking for roofers that are between 1 and 5 million that want to scale. Guys that are 10 million and beyond, you're welcome as well. You can come get the free sauce all you want. I mean, I'm looking for the guys, though, that are stuck at that point where you need a sales manager, you need the lead system, maybe you're too dependent on insurance. And we went for an hour today, and I appreciate y'all. So I've got a lot of phone calls and text messages, customers, my wife, but I was breaking the internet on this Roof and Sue method, so I thought I'd break it down for you because it leads to higher margins, faster builds, higher retained reps. It gives you the ability to make money without a storm and to sell retail without having to compete with tons of other people. So I think it's revolutionary. You think it's a ripoff? Comment below what you think. 1 hour, I'm out, guys. Y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all December 6th. If you want, type in Mark a while and I'll get you access.